Should women lift weights?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
I'll have what she's having.
In this video, I'll talk about why strength training is beneficial for women of all ages. I'll bust some commonly held myths about women lifting weights. I'll talk about the upsides from an aesthetic and health perspective and give you some tips about how to get started. If you're looking to get in shape, stronger, leaner, and more toned, you're landed in the right place.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start by busting some myths. Myth number 1, weightlifting makes you bulky. Do any of these girls look bulky to you? These are natural bikini athletes who do heavy weights all year round. The other thing that they do is watch their diet, and it is the part that gets ignored by those who make claims about lifting making you bulkier. Lifting heavy weights will not make you bulky. Eating more than you burn, that's what can make you bulky. So you need to look at your calories in and calories out. The myth of getting bulky from weights is commonly spread by those who started lifting weights here and there without watching their diet and overestimated how much they burnt in a session. You see those people going nuts on protein shakes and extra snacks. Some of those calories might go into building muscle, but the rest will be stored as fat. You might also point to some of the professional athletes in powerlifting and weightlifting, arguing that they look stocky and attribute that to lifting weights. Again, the answer is in their diet. Most of the time, these athletes are eating to maximize their strength, while aesthetics are not the priority. But even then, if you look at female athletes in lighter categories and weightlifting and powerlifting, these are the women who have been lifting weights for years, and despite their strength, they still can be very lean. You're not gonna turn
massive on the nose
because you're lifting weights, as long as you stay mindful of your diet. Myth number 2, I will look too muscular or masculine. I'd argue that there aren't many people who would disagree that a toned upper body and firm glutes and legs make a female figure look even more feminine. In order to achieve that, you need to do weights. Some women want to achieve a toned look, but they're fearful that they will get too much muscle, to the point that it will make their muscles look too big and too defined. If this will make you feel better, you've got no chance of accidentally getting there. It is hard, really hard for women to gain muscle size. Mostly, this is due to lower testosterone and high estrogen levels compared to men. Girls like me who are chasing muscle gain have to consistently train for months while also optimizing nutrition and recovery to see marginal increases in muscle mass. Even those who are blessed with genes have to train for years to achieve any significant amount of muscle and definition. This is why in natural federations you mostly see older women competing in figure categories, which is the category requiring the highest amount of muscle size and definition. Have a look at me. I have been consistently doing weight training for the past 3 years, and unless I flex my muscles, you can hardly even tell I'm a bodybuilder. This takes me to the next point, which is you can speed up gaining muscle and can get to the point where your muscles stick out from under your shirt if you do weight training and take drugs. It sounds obvious to me now, but before I started getting interested in bodybuilding myself, I never actually realized how big the gap is between natural bodybuilding and bodybuilding when athletes are allowed to take drugs. You might not appreciate it, but the latter is what you would be thinking of when talking about bodybuilding, as it gets all the publicity. This creates an unrealistic picture of female bodybuilding done naturally. The thing about taking steroids or other performance-enhancing drugs is that in most countries they're illegal to be used outside of their direct pharmaceutical application, such as treating muscle loss in case of severe burns or after chemotherapy. So the majority of people who do take them don't admit to it. While taking them is not necessarily illegal, the supply of them without a valid prescription is. As a result, when you go through your Instagram feed, you don't know who takes drugs and who doesn't, which is why you might be underestimating how hard it is for women to build muscle mass, and you're falsely led to believe that you'll accidentally turn into Terminator as you start lifting. Also, it is the taking of anabolic drugs, not lifting weights, that often comes with irreversible development of masculine features. This is because anabolic steroids are also androgenic, meaning They're responsible for development of male characteristics, such as pronounced jawlines and
Deep voice.
therefore, unless you're taking drugs, you're under no threat to become too muscular or too masculine. Myth number 3. It's unnatural and dangerous for women to lift. Some might think that weightlifting is dangerous. There is no doubt that lifting weights that are too heavy for you can cause muscle and joint damage, but in the same way, you're almost guaranteed to injure yourself if you run a marathon without the preparation. The beauty of lifting weights is that you have plenty of options available to you depending on your fitness levels. You can increase the weights you lift or progress to a more challenging option of an exercise. Major exercises performed at the gym, such as squats, deadlifts, push-ups, are based on our natural movement patterns, and all of them follow our human biomechanics. As you start lifting, you have to learn the basics and always monitor and prioritize your technique. Research has shown that when done properly, weightlifting is safer than most team sports and running, as you're about 6 to 10 times more likely to get injured playing everyday sports compared to lifting weights. Another stereotype that persists in the society is that lifting is not natural for women. It is now widely accepted that weight training has immense benefits for both men and women of all ages to their health and well-being. There is a ton of research available, and there are a lot of governmentally sponsored campaigns now that are on a mission to encourage resistance training activities and break stigmas around weightlifting. Without further ado, let's look at the benefits of weight training in more detail. Let's start with something that makes you look good and feel great: aesthetics and fat loss. Lifting is the exact activity that's most appropriate for women who have a goal of having a lean and toned physique.
Holy shit!
Resistance training has been scientifically proven as one of the most efficient ways to promote fat loss while retaining muscle, much more so than cardio. A critical combination of achieving a toned physique. When talking about achieving physique goals, there are 2 variables that we're looking at. Firstly, the amount of muscle mass, and secondly, your body fat percentage. When talking about a toned physique, this refers to having a sufficient amount of muscle at a lower body fat percentage. Without having a certain amount of muscle mass, how much exactly of it you need might depend on your height and overall complexion. If you only lose body fat, you can get a skinny look, which is kind of in the skin and bone category. Some might actually like this look, but most commonly, unless you have a certain constitution, it's not sustainable and can be damaging to your body. When I had been going through this phase, I had to maintain an extreme diet, which resulted in occasional binges. I screwed up my hormones and lost my period for over 6 months. So to have a toned, sculpted body, you don't want to just lose weight. You want to build more muscle as well. Even if you don't lose any fat, having more muscle mass will mean that you will be looking more toned than previously, as your body fat percentage will be going down. If you achieve muscle gain while losing fat, you will actually lose a bit of size, but will look more toned, even if the weight shown on the scales doesn't change. This is because muscle tissue is much denser than fat, and a kilo of muscle takes up less space than a kilo of fat. So stop obsessing over your weight on the scales. Apart from the aesthetics and body transformation, there are a great deal of other significant benefits to your health and well-being that come from strength training, irrespective of your age. Benefit 1: better posture and prevention of back issues. Weight training is effective in building stronger core and back muscles, which translates into an improved posture and reduction or prevention of chronic back pain. Benefit number 2: safety of movement and bone density. By strengthening your muscles and learning about movement patterns that are natural to your body, you are reducing the risk of getting injured from daily activities. This is why engaging in weight training is particularly important after the age of 30, as you naturally begin to lose muscle mass by about 1% each year, with inactive adults losing up to 3 to 8% annually. Further, weight training increases bone density, reducing the risk of fractures and broken bones, which gets more important as we age. This is even more relevant to menopausal women, as lower estrogen levels lead to a much higher risk of osteoporosis. A study conducted at McMaster University found that after a year of resistance training, postmenopausal women increased spinal bone mass by 9%. Benefit 3: stress management and cognitive function. Research has consistently demonstrated that regular strength training improves your ability to manage stress. In addition, resistance training studies on older adults show that moderate intensity weightlifting improves memory and cognitive function, from improved mood to lower levels of anxiety and reduction of depression symptoms. There are studies suggesting that molecular changes in our brain and body resulting from resistance training may have profound effects on improving our well-being.
Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands.
These are all great reasons. Are you convinced now? Let's talk about how to get started. In order to get fit and toned, the most frequent approach that I see women use, and I use myself prior to turning to weight training, is to do a large amount of cardio and/or classes that might use some weights at a higher rep. Here is a picture of me after a couple of years consistently doing group classes on a daily basis. I trained hard. I thought that I lifted heavy enough to stimulate muscle growth, but the truth is, it wasn't enough. The optimum protocol for building muscle, also referred to as hypertrophy, is lifting as much weight as you can for 8 to 12 repetitions. As you get more confident and stronger, you will progress to more challenging exercises and heavier weights. Finding a personal trainer and working with them in person at the start would be my strong recommendation. It's worth the investment. Learning to lift is like learning to drive a car. Things can go really wrong if you don't have someone supervising you in the early days. If this is not an option for you, you might decide to choose from the multitude of online programs available these days. Choose the program that provides exercises for the full body, has good demonstration videos, and matches your fitness level. You will be surprised how quick you get better at the start, so enjoy it! I hope what we've discussed today helped you in answering the questions you might have had regarding weight training. I appreciate that it can be a bit overwhelming and intimidating at the beginning, but remember that we all start somewhere. I'm here to help in case you have any questions. Just pop them in the comments section and I will do my best to answer. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel. See you next time! Okay, let's go. Reach. Let's do it. Reach. So to have a reach, fat loss, reach it. See, did you hear what I said? Did you like it? Okay. So you're not going to turn into a Hulk overnight. I mean, Hulk is not fat. Now come to me and I'm gonna train you. Crazy Russian woman.
What was that?
Don't worry, that. He just trained. Lift weighting. What is going on? In powerlifting and weightlifting, there were women there who lift. There are women there who have been lifting. I've really struck. Women who have been lifting. These are the women who have been waiting. Mostly due to lower testosterone. Okay, let's go. So noisy today! Crazy Russian woman.